Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to do one reading test from this new book which the students actually receive for preparation for their IELTS test. So this is IELTS Academic Volume 1. I'm going to be doing one practice test paper, reading practice test. We are on page number 124, reading passage number 1, and it is about glaciers. Now, since this is an academic topic, it is a science or a social studies or a geography related topic, glaciers. For those of you who don't know what glaciers are, you can go ahead and read the first 3-4 sentences and get an idea of what it is about. Right? But if you know it well and good, move on and go to the question straight away. Okay, now we have the first set of questions 1 to 8 as true, false, and not given. So we have these statements and we have to answer true, false, not given. Then we have the next question type. It is called summary completion, where the box is given to us and we have to choose the correct word from the box and fill it with the right word. And then we have another question 13th, and that is an MCQ. So we have a good mix of questions and a good practice that can happen from this question paper. So today we'll be doing first passage and we'll be covering question 1 to 13. Let's start with the first set, and that is true, false, not given. The first question: the current rate of glacial reduction is similar to previous rates. Now, if you look at this statement, you may find the word glacial because the passage is all about glacier. So the word glacier is going to be mentioned everywhere. So glacial, it is an adjective derived from glacier. We'll find the word reduction. Similar might not be there. We have to see whether the rate is going up, going down, or it is the same. And the rate, we have to see rate or maybe a percent or something like that. Because when I was going through this, I saw this word 10%. So I thought it could be rate only. So basically the idea is keep your eyes, keep your mind very, very open when you're doing this test. The current rate of glacial reduction is similar to previous rates. Okay. So if you read the first line itself, why I'm telling you to read the first starting is because since it is the first passage, the answers are going to be in chronology. So the order is going to be chronological. Let's start with the first sentence. Glaciers account for approximately 10% of entire Earth's surface, yet they are diminishing at an unprecedented rate. Now, diminishing is the word that we are looking for. Diminishing means going down, reducing, and reduction is another word. So reduction and diminishing, they are the paraphrased of each other. So the rate of glacial reduction is similar to previous rates, but it is saying they are diminishing at an unprecedented rate. So unprecedented means something that did not happen in the past. So is it the same? No, it is not the same because it is unprecedented. So the clear-cut answer for this is false. Right? Next question, glaciers consist of layers of pressed ice. Now here, layer is your keyword and pressed ice you might find. So pressed or something else. So glaciers consist of layers of ice. See here. So now I'm going to read it further. Let's, as fresh snow falls. Okay, so formation is discussed over here. These massive areas of ice form partially or mostly on land when snow piles up each year and due to continual accumulation become compressed. Okay. Fresh snow falls, layers of compressed snow grow until eventually they have reached a okay. It looks like true because it is saying that the ice falls or the snow falls and it becomes compressed, and the layers of compressed ice grow continually and eventually they form a glacier and it reaches the height of 50 meters. So this is true. Next, scientific classification of glaciers has changed over time. So scientific classification changed over time. Okay, now what we're doing is, if you are new to IELTS, make sure that you are reading the verbs and the adjectives very, very closely. Okay, so let's take a look. Scientific classification of glaciers has changed over time. Scientific classification. Now, classification can be synonym, can be paraphrased with this categorization. So we read over here. So let's take a look. Glacial activity can be, okay, there are two major categories with distinction between so and so. Large, okay, in fact, swathes. Scientific classification has changed over time. It's completely missing. No information about it. There are only categorization given, and since this is not mentioned whether it has changed over time or not, so we mark it as not given. Next, continental glaciers can only be found in one location. Continental glaciers is a very important keyword for you. Can be found, can only be found in one location. Now, only be found, can. These are your qualifying words. Pay attention to these words when there is any. Found in one location. Continental glaciers. Large swathes of Greenland and Antarctica are continental. Only one, so as it is, we see that there are two locations. So this answer is a false one. Continental glaciers tend to have a sloping appearance. So we are talking about their appearance, whether they have a sloping appearance or not. Sloping. Ice sheets. Sloping. Appearance. So how do they, okay, domed appearance, okay. So dome is like this, dome, right, dome shape. So do not move in downward due to the shape, okay. So the answer is true. Next, for alpine glaciers to form, so alpine glaciers and formation is discussed, a temperature lower than freezing must occur. Okay, must is another word that you are focusing on. Again, a qualifying word. So alpine glaciers, and they need a temperature below freezing for the glacier to form, right? Okay. A temperature lower than freezing. So all that's mentioned over here is cold enough temperature for ice to compact. Does it say below freezing? Not mentioned. Not given. Alpine glaciers move differently. So their movement. Move differently than ice sheets. So move differently. So let's talk about their movement. Move differently. Move differently than ice sheets. So we have to know how ice sheets move and how these alpine glaciers move. Okay. So first, okay, move differently. Now the word unlike tells you that, I guess it could be not true, because it says they often, unlike continental glaciers, move in a downward direction. So how do they move? It doesn't matter. But here it is saying unlike continental glaciers. And continental glaciers are actually sheet. I think I termed as ice sheets, right? So we should know what are ice sheets. And ice sheets are nothing but continental glaciers only. So this one is true. Next, Columbia ice field is the biggest example of its kind in Canada. Biggest example of its kind in Canada, okay. Columbia ice field, okay. Columbia ice field. Let's find that out. Columbia. I don't see it. Okay, I see it over here on the next page. So let's take a look over here. Columbia ice field. Okay, so one of the most accessible glaciers in Athabasca Glacier, which can be found in Canadian Rockies and is a part of so-and-so. Although this is a substantial ice field, it is not the largest in the country. So that is false information. Very simple, is it? It is, isn't it? False. Okay, let's come to glacial melting. Now, how do you do the summary completion is you find this word glacial melting or the discussion of this going somewhere in the passage. So glacial melting is what we are discussing over here. Glacier melting. Receding, increasing temperature. I think this is the para we are looking at, right? So let's focus on this one a little more. Okay, now let's go to the question. So one is you are given some proper nouns. The Athabasca Glacier in Alberta has been retreating at a dash of between, so at a rate maybe, okay, at a speed. It could be A, but I'm not sure. Let's go and check it out. Losing, so going down. So it says receding at a faster rate. So receding means going down and rate is another word for speed. So it will be speed only. At a speed. So retreating means it's going down and it should be A only. So how you write the answer is you don't have to write speed but A. So you have to choose the correct letter from A to I and write it in the box, right? Okay, next one. Next one is it is predicted that around 70% of the dash of ice, mass of ice, okay, let's see, I don't know, could be, because it's very predictable, the way you are using the, it's basically parts of speech that we are applying over here, nothing else. In this part of the country, mass of ice is what I'm predicting, but I'm not sure. It is predicted that 70% of the dash of ice in this part of the country. 70%. So it says replenish their ice stocks. So ice stocks is nothing but mass of ice only. So it should be mass of ice according to me. Then we have due to climate change, the sea levels will begin to increase, causing catastrophic damage to dash and coastal areas. Now one is coastal areas, it could be land, let's see, catastrophic damage to dash and coastal areas. Dash and coastal areas. Due to climate change, sea levels begin to increase. Okay. So one is sea levels definitely taking a hit. Flooding, intense coastal storms, coastal business, devastating effect on the global economy, riverbanks. Well, it's not exactly mentioning about the land. Coastal areas. I think all it is talking about is coastal areas and coastal business only. So I'm thinking it cannot be D. It can be damage to, I think it could be shorelines. Could be shorelines. Damage to shorelines and coastal areas. Local companies may also be affected by glacial melting. Okay, fresh water entering oceans may cause certain species to become extinct, as well as causing dash animals to face water shortages. Now here it could be land, because certain species to become extinct and causing dash animals to face water shortage. Yeah. So here we have some species of coral rely on salt water. And then here we also have, this would also mean the fresh water available on land also decreases, resulting in for some plants and animals. So land is definitely the answer for this one, 12th one. That's D. Okay. So we are done with this 9 to 12. Now we are left with this last question, MCQ. So MCQ, in the final paragraph, the writer suggests that. What does the writer suggest? Now for this kind of question, there are two techniques you can adopt. One is you read all the options, or you read the paragraph and then you come to read the options. My suggestion is you read all the options first, because at least you would have an idea what are you exactly looking for. Right? So let's read all the options. Governments do not accept the climate change is a serious matter. Fine. More environmentally friendly energy sources will replace fossil fuels. Okay. Methods of energy production should be examined more closely. Okay. Reducing fossil fuel usage is better than banning it completely. Okay. So one is governments are not accepting that it is a serious matter. Then environmental friendly sources will replace fossil fuels, and one is they should not be banned completely, and methods of energy production should be examined more closely. Okay, so these are the three options, and let's go to the last paragraph, and here it is. In order to help combat, it is important to look at the ways. Okay, it is important to look at the ways in which energy sources are produced. That's it. An exploration how alternative can be used. Okay, fine. So, very simple. Methods of energy should be examined more closely. That's the answer. Because it says here, an exploration. So, examine more closely. Can be used. Open the door of new possibilities. And again, this line, look at the ways in which energy sources are produced. So, C is definitely the answer, right? Now, in the next video, I will come up and I will solve the next passage right here, right now with you. Thank you so much for watching this video. Take care. Bye-bye.